double duty for us. Thank you, Lita. Okay. All right. Any changes to the agenda that I need to know about?
Just the date for the start of school.
What'd you say?
The date for the start of school, we're starting on Saturday.
Oh,
So we could add an announcement.
don't let the kids know, they'll be upset about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that is funny.
Okay. And that,
It should be the 25th.
it should be, yeah. 23rd will still be Pioneer Days. Weekend. Yes, right. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Made by Todd, seconded by Rebecca, all in favor. Everybody, thank you. All right. Since how I see no public and no forms in front of me, there is no public input. Discussion items.
I do have a charter board report.
Oh, well, you wanted me to not.
Kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Let the minutes reflect. So,
Public apology to Joe for hurting his
that's right,
feelings.
yes. You guys know how sensitive I am. No, we met on the 4th, and we elected officers for the upcoming year. So Anna Rickers will be the new president, new director, whatever the title is. The vice chair is going to be Aaron Payne. Kathy Knapp will continue to be the secretary. There were two major other things that were discussed at length. The first one is meeting times. They've now elected to change the meetings to 5 p.m. on the dates of board meetings. So their intent is to meet in the hour before board meetings take place. So that way, if there's anything that really does dovetail, they can stay on to dovetail with the board. Okay? The other thing that they discussed was their calendar for meetings over the course of this year. They reduced, I'll get this wrong, so I won't get into detail, but they reduced from 1 a month. They reduced like maybe 4, so there's a total of 8 meetings this next year.
Oh, nice.
And they identified when they were most critical to make sure that they were doing those, and also identified some soft spots where it probably wasn't as necessary for them. And so that'll all be reflected on the website when we enter that information for next to the school board meeting agenda. We will have the charter board dates next week.
Can we do that too?
No.
Kara's spoken.
I
Sorry.
actually considered for just a moment.
Never
And
ask
I
a
missed
question
you
you
guys.
don't already know the answer.
And that's all I just really had. It was really, the meeting went 38 minutes. And so,
Wow.
this is so.
Wow. Apparently you guys need more information to discuss. Did you want to review our?
That's
agenda?
one way you could look at it. So, we have, the bylaws and the contract we're still looking at, but that, we didn't do any of that work in that day. So,
Nice. Okay, no public input. Discussion items, the ESS substitute services.
so just a little bit of information for you. I can get this wrong, so Leah, correct me where I'm wrong, okay? That's actually your job title. Correcting all the things Jared does wrong. When I first started here, that same year, I believe, we began using EduStaff as our substitute service for our licensed teachers. Okay. There's been some struggles. I'm not going to besmirch them. There's just been some struggles that haven't worked as well for us as it has worked for some others. Like Central Douglas County is still going to continue to use them because the sub pool is in Central Douglas County. Okay. It's easy for somebody from Roseburg to go to Winston versus somebody from Roseburg to come to Days Creek. So we're looking at a different service, and that's what the contract is about there. One of the upsides to this is that these guys will also do our EAs. Okay. And that's not to say that we can't use the people that we already are using. Certainly we can. But the fact that we'll have EAs doing it, that's also going to be some savings for us in regards to benefits
Yes, to benefits.
Because it's all channeled through their business instead of ours.
The biggest one is that by law now, the vector training has to be done yearly for all substitute EAs as well. And so this new subsystem will make sure it gets done for our subs and our volunteers and our coaches.
Nice.
And because they're their employees, that comes on their expense.
Yes.
Not that we're averse to training people. It's just going to be nice and cost savings. And this is a service, I believe this is a service that's been used before too. And so we're waiting to see how that plays out.
Is there a contract?
Yeah, there's a link,
Well, there's an exhibit linked,
is it?
just, yeah.
Okay.
And the contract doesn't have a problem with us continuing to use the services we've been used at our will?
So we're ceasing to use the ones that we have been using and starting service with the ESS substitute service, which is basically also working out of the ESD.
Okay.
So,
Can I add something really quick? Just because I'm familiar with both of these systems, because I've been working with the EduStaff. All the EduStaff subs who have been working within these districts were contacted by ESS and providing a really swift onboarding, basically
nice.
an immediate. So if you have any subs that you've been enjoying using, just know that ESS has been bending over backwards to get the subs in
Excellent.
and to keep that continuity
that's
for
good
the
to know.
districts.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yes, because I provided them a list and then I
Yes.
just said, have them really known if they actually were contacted.
Yes, and repeatedly. I mean, email after email and phone call. So they've really been doing
good.
everything they can to reach out and retain the subs who have been working in those districts for EduStaff.
Thank you.
And for the most part, we're blessed in many ways here about how we do some of this work. But what always happens, it's kind of like a hangnail, okay? It's just a little thing that just irritates you to no end. But what happens is when you don't have that substitute who said they were going to be here and they don't show up, yeah, it's really annoying. And what happens here is the service we had, we could get a call from a substitute nationally who then calls back and says, oh, I didn't realize where you guys are at. You don't have a map?
Professional.
And then they turn down the job at 7:15 in the morning, and now nobody else is even looking at jobs at that time. So that was the biggest complaint. And the schools that struggle with that are your Camas Valley, Glendale, Days, the ones that are on the perimeter. Okay, your Elktons, the ones that are on the perimeter are the ones that really took that the hardest because you're counting us to be coming down. Nobody else has been looking.
Right. So do we don't need to approve that contract. You've got that authority, right? We don't have to
Yeah.
approve that to an action. Okay. All right, Joe's goals.
Nobody had a copy of them. Okay, so in the email, I'm sorry if I could, it's not including yours. Goal number one that I proposed, and this is of course for you to determine if you want me to go a different direction or not. Number one, that I offered at the last meeting like 6 or 7 ideas. These are the 3 that you guys said you'd like me to focus on. So goal number one would be to have renewed and approved a charter school contract in place and recognized by the state of Oregon. Now, this is measurable because there's some clear dates by which things are supposed to be done. And June 30th, of course, being the most crucial of those because that's when the contract expires. It's attainable because I've already done the research on it and I've spoken with the state on what's required. And the fact that we have good working relationships between the 2 boards means it's even more attainable. Relevant can be more relevant than most anything we're doing is we have to have this in place. And timely, I think that it's timely and that it's very easily accomplishable in 180 days that the state gives us to do the work. But also we've had an on-ramp to the work already where we've done a bunch of dotting I's and crossing T's. So I think that this is a very attainable goal and it's also a very important one, I think. If there's any questions you have or any things you'd like to see me consider differently on this, I'll take that input. I can take it now or later if you think about it. But this is the first goal that I'm proposing that you consider for my goals for this year. The second goal is by June 1st of 26, the superintendent will have overseen the construction of a 10-year facility plan. Now, this is, I think, the most challenging of the three goals that I have for this year, because I'm operating under the belief that I can accomplish it. Okay. And while I'm a little bit here, I'm actually dead serious about that, because there's a lot of other little factors in there that when it gets down to attainable, I have some reliance on some exterior partners delivering some necessary information for me to be successful in this. And so I've been working on those external partners and talking to them about how they can support this work that we're trying to do. And I think I would not offer it if I didn't think it was attainable. I'm just saying that somebody else could take a left-hand turn on me here and make it difficult for me. But as you guys know, I like to use those Friday memos to keep you abreast of the progress I'm making on my goals. And so this is another one where I would just keep you notified. If there's something not working out, I would just make sure that you're aware. Okay, if I were to fail this goal, you would know it before the day I didn't make it. Okay, I think it's timely. I think there's enough time to accomplish this. And I think it's measurable because obviously you'll see the end product. But I think it's extremely relevant as we go forward for TAP grants and awesome grants and try to look at bonds. Having something like this in place for the next 10 years, dozen years for this community, I think is a really important document. And so I deeply believe in doing this work, no matter how hard it is. I deeply believe in doing this work. And once again, if there's other things in here that you think I ought to be considering, please let me know. Okay. This is a project I've never done before, so that's kind of exciting to me whenever I'm doing something new. It's kind of like being chased by a herd of dogs. It's never happened to me. I'm pretty sure it'd be exciting. The third goal, superintendent will manage the completion of the seismic upgrade in the gymnasium in a way that closes the project on time and keeps any impact on instruction at a minimum. Okay, and currently I will tell you that as of our meeting last Tuesday, that we are on track for this to be completed. I think this is measurable by the fact that we're either in or we're not. Okay. It's attainable because I know that currently our timelines suggest that we're supposed to be done in time. I can't think of anything more relevant than being able to actually use our facilities. Okay. And it's timely because we've got to accomplish this for our fall sports to be fully active and for our classes to begin. So it's really timely that way. I will say that, and I don't know, Charlie, if you were part of the conversation or not, but there was a conversation about how many loose ends there are over there right now. And I wish I could remember who I was talking to, but somebody on our team was talking with them about, there's a lot left here. And they were saying, there will be a crew of like 900 guys in here. This is their language, not mine. Because it's going to get done on time. Okay. And so, what they were saying is they're pulling everybody in to make sure everything gets punched. On the 22nd, we'll have a punch list created and we'll start working on that. But when I was talking to the foreman about this very point, he said, you guys will have use of your gym on the first day of school. So, but anyway,
So it still says if work remains to be done after 9/1/26.
Oh, yes, okay, thank you. I did have an edit on that. Yes. So
Just
I
give
did,
yourself a little bit.
it's circled on mine to correct. As much as I was pushing it back as far as I possibly could. Yeah. Easy goal to attain, yeah. That should read 25. Thank you, Val. You wasn't gonna let me say it back that way. Anyway.
I want to make sure they all saw it.
That's right. So, seriously, in regards to those things, any other thoughts or desires or designs that you think I should be considering on those things?
I would say I like goal number 2, and I think it should be integrated with the possible new gymnasium or the cafeteria, whatever you want to call that. Just kind of where that would go, taking it a little bit farther than just campus current facilities, but plan a little bit for the possible.
That would be included.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all part of the planning.
Okay.
The stuff that we're talking about in those meetings is to include all of those plans. Todd's been in those and he knows what we're talking about, those things. There's, I think, 18 or 19 items on the list that we're examining, and there would be, in the final product, there would be comments made about each of those things and what the recommendations are. Okay, that's the intent anyway. Not that the board has to do any of them, but the idea is to try to use the best thinking we have around all of those proposals about where they'd be best and how that would work best going forward. And that's definitely on the list.
Actually, that's one of the main priorities.
Yeah.
We're going to be addressing that issue
Okay, great.
fairly soon. We already are addressing that issue, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you. That's exactly what I'm looking for is feedback. Guys. Any dates on there you'd like me to change, Val?
Just the one.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're good. All right.
Well, then I would suggest if the board approves of those, that they move them to an action item. for approval.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty exciting list of goals, actually. It's unique. It's not, directly related to the educational process, which I think you guys have done a great job. It is, but not directly, But I think it's very doable and it will contribute a lot to the school for you to accomplish these three goals.
Let me come back to that because you commented on that last month as well. Okay, about what are you doing? So just so everybody is reminded of this, in our school, in our what do they call it? Our school improvement plan that we have, those goals are in there. There's actually stipulated growth goals in there. And actually the state of Oregon has found 3 more for us to focus on. Okay. I remember 2 off the top of my head. No, I remember all 3 now. One of them is they're going to come out with new metrics that they want us to measure for K2 attendance. The second one is on 8th grade math, achievement. And the third one is something specific to our district. Anyway, that's coming down the pike. I don't know if they're going to be implementing that this year, but I did hear about that at the conference I was at. But to your point though, Todd, those dynamics that we have about our growth in regards to student achievement, graduation rates, all of those things are part of our plan, and there's specific growth targets that we have.
Sure.
And I'm tickled to say that our 9th grade on track rate this year, 100%.
All right.
Yeah. 100%, which is a critical measure for students actually graduating on time. That's why they track that one, because that's like one of the most substantial ones.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to move that to an action item. Goals.
Move that we move the goals to an action item.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Like everyone. All right. Cafeteria changes.
So Leah will chime in here a little bit with me as we go on, but basically, Angela Dosso, our new cook, is here, and she got a chance to test drive some things during summer school. And she's, I use the joke about being chased by elk, but I mean, the whole notion of being responsible for, 240 meals a day or whatever is a little overwhelming. And so she's a little overwhelmed by it, but she's excited at the same time. And so she wants to actually launch hot breakfasts. Okay. And so we're looking at how to do that with our new schedule being the way that it is by adding the time that we have. In the past, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in the past, our little ones, our K5s, used to eat their breakfast in the classroom. Okay. They come in, get a bag, they go to their room. And through the first few moments of the morning, first 10, 15 minutes, they'd be eating their breakfast while they're getting some information from the teachers, okay? So we're looking at doing, because we cannot feed all 240 kids in that cafeteria first thing in the morning. That would just be a different type of mayhem. So we're looking at a way to stagger the 612s and the K5s. We're looking at doing some things where they actually don't come down to eat until maybe just a little bit before 8 o'clock. And then they're eating into the morning when they would be in the classroom anyway, and staggering some things that way. We're going to try it, see how that works. But the most important thing I think really to understand is we're really looking at hot food for kids in the morning. We're looking at non-packaged food. And we're trying to accomplish the goal that I heard come from the board in regards to what you guys wanted to see in food preparation. And so I'm excited for the possibilities of that. And we'll just see how it evolves. And your feedback on what you hear will be helpful to us going forward. Okay, so anyway, so anything else that you want to add to that, Leah?
Now, yeah, getting her set up. She's really excited to serve less processed foods.
Yay.
And so it's also, we might have to then purchase some items so she can do so. You know, she's asking for a griddle, so if she wants to make this real cheese, you need to be able to do that. So we might have to, I said, give me your wish list of things and why. And then Joe and I can sit down and look at that and see what we need to do so she can succeed in doing that first. So you might see some stuff.
Fabulous. Okay. NEAP testing for seniors.
Yes, so NEAP is a national test that's done throughout the country. School districts are required to do the tests when they are asked to do the tests. These things can range anywhere from, I've never seen one lower than 3rd grade, I don't think. But anywhere from 3rd grade to 12th grade, each test. They could be as specific as we want you to do 7th grade social studies to, the entire rainbow of subject matters you can only begin to imagine. In this particular case, they're wanting to test our seniors. Thank goodness it's in the winter still, at least, coming in May and asking to test them. But in reading and math, okay? And so we'll just be complying with that. And I just want you to be aware of that because it'll be a different assessment that we have to do with our seniors at that time of the year. District Equity Committee update. So, and I do have an update. We have created an online application. And we just in time for all of it to change on me. So I went to this conference today and I learned about House Bill 2453. Which is a new Oregon law, which has impacted how DECs will work. They will no longer be a part of the school board. They are now, sisters harassing me from Washington. No, it says, the new law says that they are now under the purview of the superintendent, who will then will report annually to the school board on any concerns that surface through that committee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has this passed the House already, or is this?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's a big left-hand turn from where it was before. So what I had done is I had done the legwork on getting it ready, and I have the survey and the application ready to online. So all of that stuff still reads very similar. I've got to nuance the language, but that should be on our website before school starts. And I've already heard some rumblings of some people who are interested maybe in participating because have you guys seen my quarterly paper that came out? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so it's mentioned in there. So some people will see it and have some interest in it. But I think one of the things that's important about it is I don't have any desire for it to be so large it needs to be held in the gymnasium. I need to be intimate enough that people can express their feelings, and we have alternative viewpoints. And if there's anything in there that I think the board would want to know more about, I'd be happy to share any of that with you. But I like that model so much more than what we were told before, because the way it was designed before was going to be intrusive, I believe. Just on your time, just on your time. And honestly, it gave that committee more voice than the public would probably approve, frankly, because they're not elected officials. So, let's look off that soapbox. But good news is, change is coming, and Michael, our tech guy, and I are working on changing it. And you should see something popping up on the website next week. The questions I ask on the survey form are, what different perspective would you bring to the conversation, and what experience do you have in holding conversations where everyone's voice is heard? And then I will decide, since you've empowered me to do so, who actually fits on that committee and who is part of that conversation.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
All right. All right, consent agenda items. Approval of minutes from July 14th. The only thing I saw was my name was misspelled somewhere in there, which I'm not too concerned about.
For the record, I didn't do it.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I think it's right there in that paragraph. EIRE, yeah. Valerie asked us if he wants his board member out.
Oh, I can't edit it.
Oh, darn.
With the acknowledgement that Val's name was spelled wrong, I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of contracts. Looks like we have several, including Mr. Charlie Sawyer's on here for water management. Have we had the assistant athletic director position before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Questions or concerns on any of those?
Charlie Sawyer, you're the new water manager.
That's Richard.
Huh? Oh, excuse
Oh,
me.
Charlie.
Wrong Charlie.
Yep.
So is Charlie going to be working on a new water system, some of the stuff we've been talking about in our meetings?
So he'll be engaged in those conversations, but what he's going to do is he's going to take over our current water management that we have.
Oh,
So he's going to take some training,
uh-huh.
and he's going to become certified in doing that. And then he's going to, it's almost a daily thing that you have to do to make sure that our water has the right levels in it I wanted to say fluoride, but that's not it. Fluorine, thank you. Yeah, anyway, and so he's got to manage all of that, and it's a job, because I'll tell you, it varies so much seasonally by what our usage is. Okay. Which totally off topic. I'm gonna blame it on Todd.
Yeah.
But I spoke last month about our need for another water tank. We found a huge leak.
Oh,
Yeah, down by the pre-K, actually.
oh.
In the very line?
Yeah, no, it wasn't very line. It was actually in a little water exchange box that we had down there. And I mean, I guess it was a mess, but they think like hundreds a day type of water. So
Wow.
that whole other tank may not be necessary. So we're gonna hold off until we see what difference that makes.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's someplace we just didn't even think to look before. For some reason.
So Charlie's gonna be responsible for being here on campus every day?
Yeah. And we got some other plans for the guy too, but
Good.
Exciting.
I move that we approve consent agenda item B, approval of contracts.
All right, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Sorry,
Abstain. Yeah, I'm abstaining.
Yeah,
I
so-
think that was a yes. Okay, so one abstention and the rest were. Okay, item D, appointment of our personnel. We have 2 resignations. I couldn't read either of the letters. Pull them up.
Oh, really?
Winters. Even here, it wouldn't let me pull them up, so.
I don't
I
know.
don't have the permissions on those.
Yeah, so you don't have access. I read Winters from
No, I
home.
remember. Kelly's was really short.
Yeah, well,
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, okay. Nothing very exciting, but
Yeah.
Winter just said she wanted to stay home.
her baby stuff to be.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I move that
There it is
we
up there.
approve consent agenda item D.
A second.
It's been moved. Do I have a second? Yeah. Oh, I'm just slow. I was reading. Moved and seconded, all in flavor. Flavor? We're all in flavor. Hey.
Great.
Greg,
Great. Great is good. You'll have great, but you don't like it.
I guess so. All right. Boy, maybe Laura should continue this meeting. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, item 9, monthly financial summary report, Miss Leah.
Okay. Okay, so not much, we've only really had one big invoice for general fund, just being the PACE for insurance.
That was big.
That's huge.
Yeah, so that one was big. It was a big change. It was about a 40% increase. Yeah, and that's multiple reasons. Insurance has skyrocketed. And
Yeah.
also our insurance really, we had not had a appraisal done in 10 years. So that was 20% in its own. So really we've been saving for 10 years. So we had to kind of catch up. That was catching up, and then they had an increase of 20%. So that's why it was a bigger jump for us this year, but we were ready for it. They budgeted 100,000, so it was not like a shock. Everything else, yeah, we're really just getting started. We've only had one payroll, and see, our state school fund, everything in our revenue is looking good. Or yeah, we get 2 state school fund revenues come in. We do not get paid in June, so we get 2 in July. That's how they do that. So that's what we got, our 623,000. So yeah, not we're looking really good for our general fund. And going down to our capital improvement, this is how we ended the year. We've already got for capital improvement, just 4,000 from just interest. That's our ending fund balance. Our seismic fund, we are still figuring out our starting balance. And we haven't done anything for this on this side yet. It's been closing out for last year. And so we should be getting our July's invoices pretty soon, so then that will come on. Curriculum, we are just now starting to order some of our curriculum as our principals are back into school. So that'll come out of that budget. We did get beginning balance with about 29,000, and we moved over 85,000 because we are anticipating some adoptions this year. So that'll cover those. PERS reserve, that's always been our kind of our savings in case the PERS really kind of increases large amount. And that's going to be our ending fund balance, which is also our beginning fund balance for July. And then our unemployment reserve fund, we are going to be starting, beginning fund balance at 44,000. So then we're gonna move over. I know we did budget in some transfers to all of these, so as we go, we'll keep track of that. And transfer over what we need.
Have we had anybody file unemployment for summer?
I want to say we had four or five.
Yeah, four.
I
I
wanna say-
think I only looked for.
Yeah. Okay.
Last year we had what, one or two, right?
See that. Any questions on?
Have they lowered our interest rate at all that we're receiving on our funds?
Slightly, but then it kind of went back up a little bit. So, yeah, I want to say we're at 4.8%. We were running about 5, and then went down to 4.6, and that's what the last time. About 4.8. Check.
Nice.
So it's doing, they're doing a really good interest rate.
Yeah. Jealous. It's called reduced line.
Voucher report, was there any questions on that?
I did not have any.
So that increase in insurance.
Yeah,
The insurance one was kind of a shocker.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That's-
There was one that I had.
Laura has one.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I have to look at mine. The staff lunch fees. $341, the CLM group, is it? It just says staff lunch fees. I was just wondering what the lunch fees were. And of course, the picture, it says page 2, but I took a picture, like a screenshot of it, so I didn't get the whole thing. It's closer to the bottom.
There it is. CLM group.
Computer software. Says staff lunch fees. It was like, I just didn't understand what it was, because like,
That one just- Oh.
So that's just-
Okay,
that's the
that is
system,
our
right?
mealtime.
Yeah,
We track our students and our adult meals through mealtime, where they have to go down and they punch in their code. So we are changing that this year because we are all CEP, so we don't have to keep track by student anymore. But we still have to keep track of our adult meals.
Okay.
And staff that go
that
down.
makes sense.
So usually that number is about 600. And since we're only doing staff, that number went down, but we still have to meal count all the kids as they go by and make sure so we can get those. Because every time they go by and they have their 5 things that they have on their plate, it counts as a reimbursable meal.
Okay.
And so we are now going to have clickers in there. Instead of having them have to type in their code, we can just do a click that, okay, we serve them a full lunch. We get reimbursed for that. They provide. So, yes.
That was the only other real question I had. And I tried to read the last one, the QRC. Did you try to read that?
Yeah,
You're gonna have to explain it to me. Either I was tired or I was, by the time I got done, I was like, oh, sorry. I don't know what this means.
yeah, pretty much.
Is this the voucher report or is this?
No, it's on D. I was
Oh, okay.
saving,
So
I'm sorry.
We're good on the voucher report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, come on, voucher report.
Okay, yeah, so now, number C, our preschool
Promise.
budget was approved, and that is for 2 years.
Great.
Good. Yeah, that. And then our CUSEP bond that we opened in 2010 for a 15-year bond. We closed it out, so that was their final report. And
It was talking about the interest rates, that the taxable interest rate was different than what the interest rate on there, and I just, by the end of it, I was like, that's not Leah will explain it.
I've never understood this bond.
I think they do it, they like write it as confusing as possible on purpose.
yes, I think so. So, yeah, this was a bond that we were allowed to go for it. We did not have to go through the taxpayers. So that's why we were able to go for it, and that's what we did. And it was a 15-year-old bond for $600,000. It was the original. We were paying $40,000 to it every year.
Do you know
So
what we spent that money on?
I want to say it was we did some upgrades to the gym, but also like when they redid a few of the windows.
That was about the
Different
time
big
of Windows.
projects. That's what I'm. Yeah, it's not here for any of it when we spend the money.
But it didn't go through the taxpayers?
No, so it was a special bond that they put out for school districts that we could do.
So it
we
didn't
did
come
not
on
have
property
to. No,
taxes?
it did not come on.
Okay, that's good information for trying to get through.
So, no, we've never been able to pass a GI bond. So what a lot of this is saying is that, when we first did the bond, they give us our percentage rate that you're going to earn. But since we're a school district, we actually are not allowed to earn more than a certain amount. Otherwise, you're subject to arbitrage. And so that's why I went back the whole, 14 years to make sure it hadn't been done yet, to make sure we weren't subject to any arbitrage. And we found that we were okay. Normally it's okay, but the bond rates have gone up, so they were a little concerned that we were reaching into that. Yeah. So we got that notice saying we are not subject to any arbitrage. And that but this is how much that we earned in the last 15 years, which was 24,000. So about 6 months before our bond was due, we knew that there was about 24,000 in there. And we said, can we start using the rest of this gross earnings towards paying off the rest of the bonds we saved last year? We were doing that. Instead of having to transfer over money, we were able to save, so it came out of here, leaving only now about 14,000 into what's left. So now I've requested for that additional 14,000. I said, can you please send me our money? So that's where we're at. So this was our report, just saying where we ended, we paid it off, and we have no more bonds, and even we put that to Douglas County, we sent that to the county. And so now it's just ending and we can get our money back.
So they loaned us money, the interest on money,
They paid us money.
And then
and we worked on paying it back, but how did we earn?
so it was, so they put it out into the bond, and at the same time, it kind of is also, we had two accounts going. So you've got the bond payment going into the bond, but it also is earning kind of this interest. It's allowed to earn interest, and it goes into a savings account, which also has an interest in that.
What the money we haven't spent?
Yes.
Because they gave us money and we spent
Because it
it.
kind of sits in it. So it's like they pay that, we pay annually, but they didn't pay that to the actual bond. It sits in the savings account earning interest until it paid the bond like every 6 months. And so that money sits in there earning
So that's
interest.
just interest.
And then that's how it gets, and then interest is ours. But you can't earn, you've got to like stay in the window so that if you earn more than you're supposed to, then that money's subject to arbitrage. But you have this window where you can't go lower than here, but you also can't go higher than here. So you always want to stay in here. We have no control over that.
Right.
It all is just
So is arbitrage like a tax that they're
Yes.
gonna tax you on?
on to the average of that you make more than you were supposed to, and that's not fair. So.
I guess the government came up with this.
So that's how it all works. But I'm glad this one's I'm glad this we're closing this one.
Yeah.
That's the good news.
Okay.
So that is all I have.
The enrollment report is not on LinkX. It's still, our enrollment is still fluctuating. It's kind of funny. We actually lost one today. It's just what it is. It's the nature of it. But as of today, we're at 240 right now. Okay. And we are still anticipating more. It's just,
Is that with pre-K or without? pre-K?
it's about,
Wow.
so, and the pre-K is filling. We've had, if you've heard differently, correct me. Last time I checked, okay, we have 12 slots that they filled, and they had filled 9 of them. 3 more to be filled yet. And then once they filled, though, they're going to give you the names of the people in the community who applied but did not qualify, and then I'll assign those. Is that right?
That's what I last year too.
Did that 9?
There are three assigned slots. Is that what-
There's 3 slots that they assign, they have not assigned yet. And we have our 3 that we get to assign that we haven't assigned because we need to wait till they're done finished.
Right.
Exciting. All right.
Yeah, so that, when that's said, I mean, to Cliff's point, so that's 252 student mouths would be right there as we sit here. Right?
And you're going to use your criteria that we voted on to fill the
Yes.
final 3 slots.
All right.
His goals were.
Yes. I think she's working on putting it there. I like it.
I move to approve the superintendent's goals for the 2025-26 school year.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous.
That was Laura and then
Rebecca. Okay, no executive session. Todd, take it away.
Well, I just opened my big mouth like I always do, and so I took a poke at this thing. And I wrote what I thought would be, an effective policy that was along with what the state was recommending. I got their recommendations, and I could say it was longer, more detailed, and therefore not as good as what Joe and Leah or whoever worked on it came up with. I like the shorter version, less details. Details always paint you into corners, so, it's, some of it was included, some of it was similar. As far as signing in phones but actually the advice to just simply not bring the phone is the best advice there is on this policy. So I think the one that these guys wrote is great. I'm really happy that we at least are going down on record as having written a policy. I mean, you guys know how I feel about that. I think that it's great that the school's writing some of its own policy. I think it's a sign of autonomy, and I would love to see more autonomy in schools.
There's one thing on here that I want to call your attention to make sure that you understand the intent in it. The public law, the executive order that came out that made this policy have to be written stated explicitly that students would not be suspended for having a phone in school. But if you get down to the 4th paragraph, you get down to the end, it talks about students being suspended for a parent conference or something. That's really about student behavior with their phone. It's not about the phone itself. But like students who are uncooperative with their phone, they put a big fight about it, then there's always a possibility we have to be a little bit more heavy-handed to get the parent in here to talk to us about what has to be done. It's really not about the phone at that point. It's really about the student's failure to cooperate with school officials. Okay, I want to make sure that you understand the difference. It's not recommending student be suspended because they brought a phone to school. It's really about uncooperative student behavior. The other thing I would say about this is this is a draft and giving it to you guys. And what I'm going to do with Donna is we will be working with the OSBA on the template for assigning a policy code number to it. Okay, and all of that stuff. But we'll be looking for any input that you have about what it says for a technical first read, or maybe it's the second read next time around, however you want to however you want to do that. Now I'm more telling you if they want to be first read or second read, but take a look at it. And if you've got any questions, you know where to find me. But at the same time, if there's anything that's concerning to you, you'll have another opportunity to really go over.
So then the goal is that kids don't bring these devices to school.
That's truly the goal, yeah. That's truly the goal. Otherwise, we get in the business of managing them. Okay,
I'm
that's
trying to vision, 100 cell phone lockers or some of the things I've seen.
So, right-
Sports games are gonna be big.
One thing is like.
right.
That's gonna add an hour to everybody's day.
Yeah, so the kids that are playing sports are more the high school than the middle, but there are middle. And so how are they communicating with parents, right? So that's going to be a challenge because they're accustomed to how they've done it in the past. A lot of our high school students are probably going to be leaving them in their cars, which we're not objecting to that. But unless it becomes, let's all go out to Charlie's car, okay? Or he's probably they're all in his glove box or something. So it's new territory, and it's easier to release than it is to tighten these things. So this is a pretty firm line, and we are empowered in the actual policy in the state law to actually manage this differently. I was talking with a colleague today who, I don't know if she was joking, but they were talking, if you knew who I was talking to, you know they probably weren't, but they were talking about the district has the authority to, on an individual basis, waive this for any individual student. Okay? And there's going to be that need for some circumstances, of course. But they were talking about, we're just going to waive it for everybody. And it's like, okay, I don't think that's really capturing the spirit of the law, but.
Where does staff fall under this? So staff's gonna be able to still be on their phone all the time and stuff like that.
Well, it doesn't say anything about staff. It doesn't say anything about staff.
I feel like we should
And
have something.
but that conversation is going to take place, okay?
Because I know some of them that are on their phone constantly.
Yeah.
And it's not as they were trying to enforce that last year, it wasn't taken very well by the students when
When the staff.
they know that the staff, and it's not for work purposes, it's for social media and stuff. So I
So.
feel like sometimes we try to hold the students up to a standard, we don't hold the staff up to
Yeah.
the same standard, and it makes it
I feel
hard
like
for the kids to respect it.
I feel like the policy doesn't really get to the point though. I mean, I had to ask you what the point was. I knew what the point was, but you don't really make it in here. Why isn't it just spelled out? Students are expected to leave their devices at home. And then go into the detail because you don't even really get to that. You start off with, unless an exemption has been determined by blah, blah, blah. You told me I can have an exemption. I'm already figuring out how I'm getting around your rule.
Okay.
Yes,
I
feel like
think you need to
this is
start with, leave your phone at home. That's the rule. If you inadvertently find yourself at school with your phone in your possession, report immediately to the office and turn it in. But we got to start with, what's the point? The point is, don't bring your phone. The oops, I brought it is put it in the office. Otherwise, you have 100 people
Right.
checking their phones at the office. I think you need to get a little bit more.
Quite well taken. That's the whole reason we do this is to get that type of.
Sure.
Well, and probably as well, if you leave it in your car, the school is not liable for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about liability.
Well, it
Probably in our other policies, I imagine we have that covered, personal property and.
Let me verify.
That's a good point, yeah. It should be covered in kind of a general policy.
The cell phones have become such a part of our modern life. I've got one with me tonight, but it's not part of my life very often. But I foresee parents having some problems with the concept of my kid, because I want to be able to contact my kid or them to contact me.
Realistically, how
connection with my
many years
kid,
have kids been bringing phones to school? I mean, it's been at least 15, is that reasonable? The time kind of gets away from me, but so for one, I can't believe as a society, we waited this long to address this issue. It should have been addressed a long time ago.
I think some of the strides we took last year will make this easier here than it will in some other places that haven't taken any strides yet. Though, this guy goes to Laura's point, there were definitely pockets where it was not being enforced correctly. And so if this is really going to be done, it's got to be done correctly.
Sometimes I also wonder if we're coming about this in the wrong way, because I believe that cell phones are an issue and what the kids are on. But I also believe that teacher needs to be in control of the classroom, but could also use it as a tool. Because I mean, we're always trying to, up our technology and keep the kids up to date on stuff. And like, it's just what it is. Phones are what they are. A kid can run a business from a phone. And so sometimes I feel like we don't tap into that enough and use them as, a learning tool, or even have some school issued phones, for kids to learn stuff on. But I don't know. I know that they're a problem the way the kids use them, but I'm just saying that there's also the other argument that, that's where the world is heading and going, and we want our kids to be up to the level of other kids entering the workforce, and they are a tool in a lot of ways.
I do the math. 2008, I had a teacher whose classroom was paperless. There was no paper involved. It was all online. And it was all stuff that she did through Google. Okay. And so to your point, I had another one who in 2011 was doing most of her instruction from home. So, but these are people who had the skills to do that.
Yes.
It's not like, Laura, I want you to teach off the phone. I mean, just the professional development required and skill level is not something you just expect.
So a problem that I see in this as well is it says that laptops aren't included as these. So a child can bring their laptop from home.
No, it's personal electronic devices, so they can't bring a watch.
So it says.
This does not include a laptop.
Yeah, the
and
policy did not include laptops.
So
The
it says
policy,
right in here, yeah.
So maybe strike
First
that
paragraph, last
sentence.
sentence. Yeah.
the state policy, that not the policy, but the law
It
does
doesn't
not
include
include
laptops.
laptops.
So if a kid wants to bring their personal laptop to school. they do
According to the law.
According to the law, they
Yeah.
can.
They can.
So they can do everything from a laptop, they can do from a phone.
Yeah,
So it's not-
I thought the same thing.
I mean, they can be texting, they can be, so it's gonna be,
We have to make our own policy.
yeah, but at least it's this big and they're not like, sneaky, I mean, you're like. you're not gonna be-
So there's the law, there's the law.
It's an oversight.
The thing is, if you outlaw laptops, then I mean, this is a laptop. And
Yeah, I
like
think
school
that-
issued laptops.
Sentence to be struck.
No,
Personal
no, there was an intention with the state law in regard to
There was
that.
only
The
something
intention was that the laptops are actually important on an educational level as a tool.
But not the student's personal. I think we're talking about classroom
It didn't-
sets
it didn't
of
articulate- it did
laptops.
not
Right, in
articulate
your
that.
Chromebooks that they're
Kids are
using
bringing
there.
their own laptops.
Because I downloaded, the
Okay.
stat, I printed out
So
what
it's a straight
the
copy.
state stuff when I wrote my little policy.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was on there. The laptops were not included in this.
Right, because typically laptops don't make and receive calls and text messages. But now.
I'll just double
Yeah.
back.
There's quite a few
So-
programs
It's
and
easy.
laptops. Yeah, that's.
I typed from my laptop. It's-
If your phone is at home, plugged in, you turn on your Wi-Fi, you can do anything with it on this that you can do with that. It's fairly easy to set up. Also, my personal belief is the government doesn't have this much business telling us what to do. It should be done on an individual basis. If the school wants to set a policy to accomplish something like this, great, but the government has no business telling us how to do this.
I also feel like the amount of improvement that we saw last year with the policy that you did put into effect at the beginning of last year, we saw such an improvement just from even that policy. If we would have been able to grow on that this year, I think it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And the kids actually, I don't feel like it was that hard for the kids. Once they figured it out, but I think this is gonna be a lot.
This is
Worse.
a lot.
It's gonna be a lot
bigger-
worse.
Bigger step.
It's heavy-handed.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, Mike, what you're saying is you don't believe that this law should have ever been passed. Is that what you were just saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I believe it comes down to a personal responsibility thing where if the teacher says, okay, you got all your business taken care of, feel free to do whatever you want to. Up until that point, that there again has to be judged on an individual level.
But the school could write a policy to do exactly what the law is requiring us if they chose to, but it should not be a state requirement.
There you
The
go.
governor should
Yeah, I
be telling
agree.
that.
Yeah, it's none of her business.
Hold on, I agree, and I agree that we should, I don't even feel like we should listen to a governor who won't listen to the president, like I said last meeting, so. That is,
Yeah, that's
I
eventually
agree.
constitutions.
I'll take this back. I'll make a couple tweaks on it, and I'll verify, I'll go back to the language of the law, verify it on the laptops, and make sure I didn't misunderstand something. And I'll also verify policy in regards to personal property and cars. Just to make sure that you guys know how that all sits.
Yeah. thank
Because it
you.
seemed to be on campus that it was on school grounds during school hours, I believe is how they
Yeah,
raised it.
which made it sound like
So
to me,
that
you
sounds
gotta
like
turn them
cars
into
were
the
also
office.
off limits.
Mhm.
Just,
Well,
from,
we can't search kids' personal cars.
Yeah.
We can't, who are we gonna police the car?
I thought the language was more like school building, which way I thought cars might be missing. Yeah, I'll look. I will go through it and fine tooth comb. I will, probably send it to you guys on a Friday thing, not this Friday, but
So
that
that,
time, just to bring it to speed.
it does bring up other questions such as, so like after school activities, not the same
Right, not
as
the
during
same.
school.
Not the same. Yes.
it has to be during instructional hours.
Instructional hours, so after school activities, okay, never mind.
Been released for sports, then they can have their phone. But I also see it creating an issue for the
It's
office.
gonna be.
I mean, if they're-
Yeah.
With kids trying to get to the bus.
Yes.
Bus.
So,
It's not gonna be
Well,
happy.
yeah, so, we've been talking about what that will look like and how we're gonna manage that. And today was James's first day back,
Yeah.
only to discover it's gonna be in his office.
But might need to-
The point being is it's not gonna be in the flow of student traffic, really, that's what that's about. It'll be secure back there. We'll have a check-in, check-out procedure. I mean, we've got some thoughts about how we're going to be doing it already. We don't know if it's going to work. We don't know if we're gonna get 240
That's what I,
phones. We just don't know what it's
told
gonna look
everybody,
like,
everybody bring your
But-
phone.
but-
Every day.
We're gonna give it our best shot to do what we think is intended and what you feel needs to be. So,
There may
That's why I
be
think it should be really.
there may be some psychological impacts to this.
well, I'm gonna add that.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
some kids, you take their phones from them, they are in that. I mean, we may need some counseling available. We actually
It's
did.
no joke. I mean, they tell their grandparents over taking their phones. This is crazy. These kids are.
It's been good knowing you.
The adults aren't any better as far as addiction.
It's true.
devices.
It is true.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything with that. You're gonna tweak it some more and bring it back. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh my gosh, we're already on announcements.
Well-
Oh, yeah. No.
So two things. First the fun. So you guys have been getting emails from me about our welcome back breakfast. So just a reminder, if you haven't signed up, if you want to check with me after, there's still a couple things that we could use. And thank you again so much for doing this for our staff. I appreciate it very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and then secondly, on that note, I'm going to be joining the staff. I've accepted the VA position. So I'm not through the paperwork and everything yet, so I'm still on the board for right now, haven't resigned yet, but as that paperwork progresses, HR will let me know how to go through that process, but we will be needing to appoint my position. So if you guys know anybody who wants to serve on board.
And it's an at-large position. It
It is, yes. I ran for the at-large to make sure it would be open to as many people as possible in case.
But good chance that this is your last meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Since
You're
we're
always
starting
welcome to
soon.
come.
Assuming that they eventually give me a call for the HR, not Joe. But the district, yeah. So this is probably my last seating here. I might show up just for fun.
I heard you couldn't get off the board unless you found a replacement. Seems, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well.
Hotel California.
Right.
Check out all you want.
Yes, well, thank you, Rebecca, for your willingness to serve
Yeah.
and for re-upping, even though you're moving on to great things for yourself. So we're excited for you.
Thank you.
Continue to serve our community. Thank you.
Yes, in a
Definitely
different capacity.
capacity, exactly. So
Yes.
I'm excited about that. We have a great staff here and I'm excited to be part of it. So,
Yes, but we will miss you immensely on the board, for sure.
Well, full disclosure for how that may affect a quorum, I won't be here for the next 2 board meetings,
Okay,
so. Let's see.
so find a
Will I be
replacement
in a
quickly.
Position, I may be in a position to be on a telephone. Either or both of those, but if that becomes necessary, but anyway, just to let you know.
I won't be here in October as well. But I could also arrange to do a Zoom or phone or whatever's handy.
That sounds like hunting season.
That's exactly what it is.
How did I know?
well, I think we just cancel our. What do you think?
We're back to the charter, I get like 8 board meetings a year instead of 12.
I knew that's what you were getting
Let's see,
at.
when the big hunting season.
I'm going whitetail hunting in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right. That's your fun trip. I'm excited for you guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, any other director reports?
Let's development as contractors vacate inside.
Right, announcements.
So the administrative team is currently attending the Oregon Instructional Leadership Conference. It's held here at the casino,
At least it was close by.
full disclosure. No, actually, we were reviewing a lot of public law today that you've heard me actually even comment on today. Tomorrow, there's actually 2 workshops that I'm really excited for James and Kathy to participate in because they're focused on how you use data to inform the quality of your instruction and the progress of your instruction, okay? Which is not as simple as it may sound, particularly when you're talking about, if you're talking about math scores, okay, we've been doing that for decades. If you're talking about how many students actually know and understand their civil rights, that's a different assessment and a different method of measure. So how are we doing that in all of our classes? How do we know that our instruction is making a difference? And so that's what they're going to be getting tomorrow. And I'm pretty excited to see that they're getting that. One other thing that I'll share with you about that is that the last 2 years that I've been working for you, I've done some professional development with the teaching staff. And most of the time, you guys have just been so kind to me thinking, Joe knows what he's doing. And I do. But the thing is most people don't understand it and can't even visualize it. But the staff is going to be given the visual, and from the work we've done in the past, they'll be able to see what they've done and where we're going now. And so I'm kind of excited for them because it lays it all out, and it's a transformational model about how everybody has room for improvement. So how are you improving? And everybody is in that progress in some different place. And so that's the work we're going to be doing this year is on an individual basis, how is each person growing toward becoming more engaging? As we know, that's been a topic. And in measuring the progress of their students so that they know students are walking away with more than they came in. And those are the 2 things we're going to be focusing on.
How can you do that other than testing? How do you gather this data other than testing?
Well, no, it's through forms of assessment, but it's not formal. It's not something the state's going to give you.
Oh, I see.
It's going to be something that it's got to be personalized, and the teachers have got to know how to do it, and they have to know how to fix it too, because they're going to screw it up. Guaranteed. Okay. They're not going to be able to get it right first time, maybe not even the first 5 times, but they've got to embrace it, and they got to learn, and they got to be on the journey. And so that's what we're doing. Sure. And Kathy and James are getting their dosages of that tomorrow.
Perfect.
Staff returns on the 18th. Yeah.
And we're doing breakfast for them as soon as they get here.
Yes.
So we are still missing scrambled eggs and breakfast meat, it looks like,
Yep, and juice.
and juice. So,
And Laura, I'm gonna leave my stuff at your house as I want to go. So you definitely will be here. Yeah, I'll have it ready to leave, but I'll bring it at the house for you to bring down. Thank you.
And Joan, has somebody talked with maintenance or somebody to put tables out under the
No,
patio?
somebody
We need
should.
to- Yeah, somehow we need to coordinate getting the
I'll
tables
do
and
that.
chairs out there. Thank you so much. We'll need a couple of serving tables end to end as well
Right.
out there. Thank you.
okay, back to school bash on the 21st, 4 to 7.
And that evening at 5 o'clock.
That evening at 5 o'clock, yes, we'll have everything here for Miss Diane. Is anybody gonna do a speech?
We have a sound system that is set up, and I'm willing to say some words that will help her and the community who's present hear about her contributions and about the model that she set for all of us in regards to community care.
Fabulous, thank you. Does anybody on the board wish to care to say anything either? It's not my gifting, so not doing it.
What?
I'm not sure what I would say.
Okay.
I'm happy to take that, you guys.
August 22nd, punch list development as contractors vacate inside. That's exciting. Are you sure that's on the 22nd?
Shut up. Yeah. That's only because I didn't set that date. I was told that date. Yeah. Yeah. It's the ones that I set that I have trouble with. Yeah. I'm excited for that too.
Yes.
And I will say, and Charlie can probably attest to this, but each of the last 2-3 meetings we've had, I've said, so we're on time, we're gonna be back in the building, we're gonna be back. Yeah. So there's not any mystery about that. I mean, there's a very good chance they'll still have some exterior things we're working on. But getting people in the building so we can use it for its purposes should be ready by, what's that date? 25th, yeah, 25th, first day of school.
Lovely. Perfect. Any other announcements? People? Pioneer Days, the 21st to the 24th. Everybody wants to go. Public input, none. Oh, I guess we could adjourn. You guys really want to.
I move to adjourn.
Seconded, all in favor? Yeah. That's everyone. Love these quick meetings.
I don't mind.
Waiting for our next policy packet.
You have to say something. You just have to say.
It'll probably come in October when everybody's gone.
I was hoping we get it tonight, so you get the next couple of months to
We'll
work
just
on it.
table it. Table it.
Yeah, that's what you did, that's what you did last week. Kick the can down the
We don't want to
road.
table it right now. We're gonna table it again.
Thanks for your visit.
Which we need to-
See you later.
So.
It's coming fast, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming fast.
So I can.
This will
be my last.
So I should teach you guys, our,
My intention.
our student enrollment, currently our kindergarten, first grade, third grade, and seventh grade are all full.
Wow.
That's great.
Kindergarten, first, third, seventh.
Are currently full.
Yeah.
The only way we take any more students is if they are in our district. Then we have to.
I'm gonna be preparing feeding for breakfast on Monday. I'm wanting to try to sign up to help, but I don't know how to do scrambled eggs for 50 people and get them here and keep them hot.
You need a really big pan.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
When they get it there.
The best way to prepare scrambled eggs is get a bunch of empty Gatorade containers. We do this when we've got them. That's what it's packing. Fit like 16 eggs with a 32 ounce Gatorade container.
And I was
Take that push egg.
hell, again,
Shake the business out of it.
I'm thinking, that's the many
Scrambled eggs.
I like an electric.
So either text me or do my phone call.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, text this one.
last time I said.
Yes, it's
Electric.
last time I took it, the way it looks like it's shaking down right now. But
I don't know. I guess we get down to it. We can just make some scrambled eggs here.
That's the taste.
Like salad.
So